Thank you very kindly. Wonderful opportunity to be here in Canada. Thank you so much. I'm going to stand here at the podium. I'm a preacher. And I will ask for an offering at the end of my presentation. I agree with my confreres and my compatriots that we should argue against the vicious limitation and recursions against speech. I believe that everybody has the right to be able to articulate themselves, and the enormous privilege we have to come to a spot in a space like this means that we have that privilege and we should be responsible for it. Quick response: come with me to a Black Baptist church. Come with me to a historically black college. Come to me to an indigenous or First Nations community where we're able to engage in some of the lovely conversation, but also to listen and hear, treating that person as an individual. If we're living in a society where women are subject to aberrant forms of horrid, patriarchal, sexist, and misogynist behavior,
I decided to meet my enemies. I was a 27-year-old award-winning documentary filmmaker and a proud feminist, and I was determined to expose the dark underbelly of the men's rights movement.
And misogynist behavior, you are not acknowledging the centrality of the individuality basis of benefit from group identity.
All I knew of the men's rights movement was from what I read online, that it's a misogynistic hate group actively working against women's equality.
Without having said, I'll end by saying this. The great American philosopher Beyonce Knowles said that it has been said that racism is so American that if you challenge racism, you look like you're challenging them.
I have the right to define my identity against the one that was collectively assigned to me.
America, we are challenging inequality.
So for 1 year, I traveled North America, meeting the leaders and followers of the men's rights movement. I spent anywhere from 2 hours up to 8 hours interviewing each individual men's rights activist, also known as MRA. And I filmed 44 people total. And there's an important rule in documentary filmmaking. As an interviewer, you do not interrupt. So I'm asking questions, and I'm getting their full life story. And in the moment, I didn't realize it. But now looking back, I can see that while I was conducting my interviews, I wasn't actually listening.
We are challenging the refusal to see me as an individual. When we overcome that, have at it, we're all on equal plane.
Okay. Let's get precise about this. Okay.
Let's get precise.
To what degree is my present level of attainment or achievement a consequence of my white privilege? And I don't mean sort of. You mean 75%? And what do you propose I do about it? How about a tax? How about a tax that's like specialized for me so that I can account for my damn privilege, so that I can stop hearing about it? Now, let's get precise about one other thing, okay? We'll get precise about one other thing. Now,
Precise?
Yeah, precise, yes. And so, if we can agree, and we haven't, that the left can go too far, which it clearly can.
I was anticipating. I was waiting to hear a sentence, or even just a couple of words in succession that proved what I wanted to believe.
Then how would my worthy opponents precisely define when the left that they stand for has gone too far? You didn't like equity, equality of outcome. I think that's a great marker. But if you have a better suggestion and won't sidestep the question, so let's figure out how I can dispense with my white privilege, and so that you can tell me when the left has gone too far, since they clearly can. And that's what this debate is about political correctness. It's about the left going too far. And I think it's gone too far in many ways. And I'd like to figure out exactly how and when, so the reasonable left could make its ascendance again and we could quit all this nonsense.
This is what I'm saying to you. Why the rage, bruh? You're doing well, but you're a mean, mad white man.
That I had found the misogynist. A couple of times I thought I had it. There was one men's rights activist that said to me, "Just walk outside and look around. Everything you see was built by a man." Statement felt anti-women. I felt my jaw clench, but I sat quietly, as a documentarian should, while removing all the space between my upper and lower molars. After my year of filming, I was reviewing the 100 hours of footage I had gathered, replaying and transcribing it, which, believe me when I say, no one will ever listen to you more than someone who transcribes your words. You should write that down. Initial knee-jerk reactions to certain statements weren't really warranted.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
And my feeling offended didn't hold up to intense scrutiny.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Was that statement about men having built the skyscrapers and the bridges anti-women?
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
I thought, well, what would be the gender reverse scenario? Maybe a feminist saying, just look around. Everyone you see was birthed by a woman.
But even more disappointed that really I haven't heard from Michelle or from Professor Dyson as to what they think political correctness is. Because what they've talked about is basically saying progress, in our view, is progress. Well, I agree. That's, yeah. So it is too. And good on progress. But how is it that you're saying that what we call political correctness, you call progress?
You want me to define, or one of us to talk about when the left goes too far. And
you're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
And in looking back on the 37 diaries I recorded that year, there was a common theme.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
I would often hear an innocent and valid point that a men's rights activist would make, but in my head, I would add on to their statement a sexist or anti-woman spin.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
You can tell me when the left has gone too far.
Assuming that's what they wanted to say but didn't.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
So here are two examples of how that would go. A men's rights activist in MRA would say to me, there are over 2,000 domestic violence shelters for women in the United States, but only one for men. Yet multiple reputable studies show that men are just as likely to be abused.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
I would hear them say, we don't need 2,000 shelters for women. They're all lying about being abused. It's all a scam.
To listen. You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
But in looking back on all the footage I'd gathered of men's rights activists talking about shelters, and all the blogs they've written and the video live streams they posted on YouTube, they're not trying to defund women's shelters, not at all. All they're saying is that men can be abused too, and they deserve care and compassion.
See how you've been looking at me.
any stray phrase you utter might be used to defame you. I disagree that that is something that is being solely kind of perpetrated.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Second example, a men's rights activist would say to me, where is justice for the man who was falsely accused of raping a woman?
And so really the only way to break through it is to say what you say that you're afraid to say.
I just want you to do it. I want you to define when the left goes too far. You can do it any way you want.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Like I said, I think that the left goes too far when it is violent or censorious, when it tries to shut people down or no platform them, or when it acts violently. I'm not sure what you expect
Something
beyond
deeper.
that.
And because of this accusation, he loses his college scholarship and is branded with the inescapable title of rapist.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Beyond that, something deeper, how?
Yeah. Well, I'd like you to contend with the set of left-wing ideas that produced all the left-wing pathologies of the 20th century, and to define how you think standard left-wing thinking, which has a valuable
Again,
place,
so
goes too far.
I would hear them say, a woman being raped isn't a big deal. It's as if I didn't hear the word falsely accused of rape.
Is the right gone too far?
Of course the right
How?
has gone
Tell
too
us
far.
how.
Well, how about Auschwitz?
I mean,
Well,
what
I was
else?
talking about 20th
Is that
century
right?
politics.
What else? More recently, what has gone wrong with the rape?
Look,
Charlottesville.
I don't like identity politics players at all. I don't care whether they're on the left or the right. I've been lecturing about right-wing extremism for 30 years. I'm no fan of the right, despite the fact that the left would like to paint me that way because it's more convenient
How
for
has it gone too far recently?
Well, where? It's threatening to go too far in identitarian Europe, that's for sure. It's gone too far in Charlottesville. It went too far in Norway. Like, how long a list do you want? And why am I required to produce that? To show you that I don't like the
You were asking
identitarian
us,
right?
I just thought I'd ask you.
I was actually asking you a question.
Of course, rape is a big deal, and all the men's rights activists I met agreed it is a horrible thing to have happened to anyone. I eventually realized what they're saying is they're trying to add to the gender equality discussion who is standing up for the good-hearted, honorable man that loses his scholarship, his job, or worse yet, his children, because he's accused of something he absolutely did not do. Well, I couldn't keep denying the points they were making. There are real issues. But in my effort to avoid agreeing with my enemy completely, I changed from putting words in their mouth to acknowledging the issue, but insisting they are women's issues.
To listen. You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Well, I couldn't keep denying the points they were making. There are real issues.
So your assumption is somehow that I must be on the side of the right. It's like, look, the right
didn't say
hasn't
that.
occupied the humanities and the social sciences. It's as simple as that for me. If they had, I'd be objecting to them.
Say that again, I didn't hear that.
The right has not occupied the social sciences and the humanities. And the left clearly has. The statistical evidence for that is overwhelming.
Sir, what about IQ testing in terms of genetic inheritance? I'm
Sorry,
just
we're
saying.
here to talk about political correctness.
Well, I couldn't keep denying the points they were making. There are real issues.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
That's, yeah. So it is too.
So here are two examples of how that would go. A men's rights activist would say to me, men are far more likely to lose their child in a custody battle.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
And I would counter, well, because women are unfairly expected to be the caretaker, it's discrimination against women that women get custody more often. Yeah. I'm not proud of that.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Second example, an MRA would say to me, men are roughly 78% of all suicides throughout the world. And I would counter with,
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
but women attempt suicide more often. So ha. Ha?
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
It's not a contest, but I kept making it into one.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Why couldn't I simply learn about men's issues and have compassion for male victims without jumping at the opportunity to insist that women are the real victims? Well, after years of researching and fact-checking what the men's rights activists were telling me, there is no denying that there are many human rights issues that uniquely or disproportionately affect men. Paternity fraud uniquely affects men.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
The United States Selective Service, in the case of a draft, still uniquely affects men.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Workplace deaths, disproportionately men.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
War deaths, overwhelmingly men.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Suicide, overwhelmingly men.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Sentencing disparity, life expectancy, child custody, child support, false rape allegations, criminal court bias, misandry, failure to launch, boys falling behind in education, homelessness, veterans issues, infant male genital mutilation, lack of parental choice once a child is conceived, lack of resources for male victims of domestic violence. So many issues that are heartbreaking if you are the victim or you love someone who is the victim of any one of these issues.
You're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
These are men's issues, and most people can't name one.